welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into an industry that, well, it works mostly behind the scenes, but it's actually incredibly important. We're talking about the dry granulator market.
Right.
Now, if you're wondering what a dry granulator is, basically think about taking fine powders, the ingredients for medicines or food supplements, maybe even some chemicals, and turning them into these uniform little pellets or granules.
Makes them much easier to handle and ensures consistency.
Exactly. It's a critical step. It makes sure tablets have the right dose, dissolve properly, flow better during manufacturing, all that stuff. This market is quietly powering production lines all over the world.
Uh-huh.
So our mission today is really to unpack its significant global growth and look at the fascinating regional dynamics.
And understanding these kinds of specialized, almost foundational markets, it's so valuable because they often signal these much broader economic trends, technological shifts, things that affect all of us, sometimes in ways we don't immediately see.
Like little indicators.
Exactly, quiet indicators of bigger industrial movements.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So globally, the dry granulator market, it pulled in around, $668 million in revenue back in 2021?
Just about.
And the projections are, well, they're pretty striking. It's expected to hit over $811 million by 2025.
Right.
And then really soar to almost $1.2 billion by 2033.
Wow.
That's a consistent compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of almost 5% every year.
Yeah, and what's fascinating there, I think, is understanding what's really pushing that expansion.
Or the drivers.
Well, for one, we're seeing big advancements in the dry processing technologies themselves. They're getting better, more efficient.
Okay.
Then there's also this steadily growing demand for tablet formulations. I mean, think about pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, even some food products. More tablets needed.
Makes sense.
And crucially, there's a big sustainability angle.
Yeah.
Solvent-free granulation, it's much better for the environment.
Right.
So for you, the listener, this translates into products that are often higher quality, they're made more efficiently, and with a smaller environmental footprint. Think about the medicines you take or supplements. This tech matters.
That efficiency and sustainability piece, that definitely feels like a major tailwind right now. So where's this playing out most? Let's maybe take a kind of world tour, explore how this growth looks region by region, because the numbers, they tell a really interesting story.
Good idea.
Let's start in North America. Seems like a solid foundation there. It's projected to grow from about $158 million in 2021 to over $260 million by 2033. That keeps it at a healthy CAGR. Over 4%.
Pretty steady.
Yeah, and the U.S. is, well, it's leading the charge, expected to reach over $210 million itself. But Canada's doing really well, too, an impressive CAGR, over 5%, growing to more than $27 million.
Okay.
And Mexico is a significant contributor, too, jumping to nearly $22 million. Solid 4.4% growth rate there.
You know, that the stable growth in a mature market like North America, it really highlights the ongoing investment in that established industrial infrastructure.
Right.
It's not just about brand new demand, it's also about upgrading existing plants, adopting these more efficient, modern, dry granulation methods. So it's about producing better.
Producing better, not just more. That's a great point. Okay, how does that compare to Europe? Another strong industrial base, but maybe different priorities.
Yeah, let's look at Europe.
So Europe's revenue was around $124 million in 2021. Forecasted to hit over $207 million by 2033. That's backed by a QDR of almost 4.5%.
Still very healthy growth.
Definitely. Germany, maybe not surprisingly, is a leader there. Its market's growing to over $48 million. Strong CGR over 5%.
Okay.
The UK follows, market value increasing to over $28 million. That's a 4.8% CAGR. And then you've got France, Italy, Spain, Sweden, all contributing significantly, all growing consistently above 3.8%.
Right.
Even Russia, though its CGR is a bit slower at 2.6%, it's still projected to grow to over $7.5 million by 2033.
I think Europe's growth connects directly to its really strong manufacturing base, particularly in pharmaceuticals and specialty chemicals.
Makes sense.
And given the region's, really strong focus on environmental regulations and stewardship, the sustainability benefits of dry granulation, that solvent-free aspect we mentioned, that's probably playing an even bigger role there in driving adoption and expansion. They're actively looking for those greener methods.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Now, Asia Pacific. This is where it gets, well, really interesting.
Yeah, this is the powerhouse.
This area stands out with the most robust growth. I mean, the market here is said to almost double. Jumps from around $313 million in 2021 to a huge $594 million by 2033.
Wow.
It's charting a notable 5.5% CAGR overall for the region. China, as you might expect, is the powerhouse within APAC, escalating to nearly $178 million, driven by a 5.7% CAGR.
Big numbers.
But then look at India, it's right behind, rising to over $105 million. And listen to this CAGR, over 6.2%.
That's incredible.
That's the highest among the major economies we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And other significant players, Japan, South Korea, Australia, all showing solid growth too. And we're also seeing really rapid growth in, let's say, smaller but dynamic markets like Singapore and Southeast Asia generally, both with CAGRs near 6%. And Taiwan climbing to over $26 million as well.
Yeah, the reason APAC is leading this charge, it's multifaceted, right? You've got that incredibly high pharmaceutical demand, especially in India, which is just a massive driver for granulation tech.
Right, we talked about pharma demand.
And you couple that with the sort of overarching trend of rapid technological advancement and just general industrialization across the whole region. It perfectly aligns with those key growth drivers we mentioned earlier: demand, tech, efficiency. It's all converging there.
It's like a perfect storm for growth in this sector.
Exactly. A positive one.
Okay, let's move on. South America. Seen some emerging momentum there, too.
Let's look.
The market's set to increase from nearly $35 million in 2021 to almost $65 million by 2033. That's a healthy CGR of over 5.3%. Brazil's leading the region, expected to hit almost $25 million. Argentina's following closely, reaching over $13 million with a strong 5.8% CAGR. Chile is over $5 million too. And Colombia and Peru are also seeing healthy growth rates, 4.8%, 5.1% respectively.
This really reflects the rising industrial needs and just the ongoing development in these countries. As their manufacturing sectors grow and mature, the demand for this kind of foundational processing equipment, like dry granulators, it just naturally follows. It's a key part of their industrial evolution.
Building blocks, essentially.
Exactly.
All right, what about the Middle East? Also shown a promising trajectory here, increasing from around $20.7 million in 2021 to over $38.5 million by 2033. Strong 5.3% CAGR.
Good growth there, too.
Saudi Arabia is leading, expanding to over $10 million. Turkey's following strong, over $6.6 million with a 5.6% CAGR. And the UAE boasting a really significant CAGR of almost 6%, growing to over $6.6 million as well.
Very strong for the UAE.
Yeah. And Egypt and Qatar also set for notable market values, around $6 million and $4 million respectively.
This region's performance, it really underscores those ongoing economic diversification efforts we hear about.
Moving beyond oil and gas.
Exactly. And the significant investments they're making in building out robust industrial capabilities beyond those traditional sectors. They're laying the groundwork for a more varied manufacturing future. And yeah, granulators are a key piece of that puzzle.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, let's round out our world tour with Africa.
Okay.
The dry granulator market there is set to grow from around $18 million in 2021 to over $33 million by 2033. That reflects a TAGR of almost 4.5%.
Still solid.
Yeah. South Africa is seeing strong momentum, rising to nearly $13 million. Nigeria is also growing well, over 4.7% CAGR.
For Africa, I think what we're seeing here is really foundational growth. These developing economies are building out their industrial capacities from maybe a lower base. So it's a crucial step in their manufacturing evolution, laying the groundwork for future expansion across many sectors, especially, again, pharmaceuticals and food processing, which are so vital.
So we've gone around the globe. What does this all mean when you put it together? It's kind of fascinating how interconnected this market's growth is, even though it's quite specialized.
Yeah, it really is. And if we connect all these regional pieces back to the bigger picture, the data, it just clearly reiterates that the forces driving this market, whether it's that huge pharma demand in India or the strong sustainability goals pushing adoption in Europe, or just the broad technological advancement across Asia Pacific, these forces are deeply interconnected with the whole future of manufacturing, healthcare, processing industries globally.
It's not just isolated growth.
Not at all. It really shows how these seemingly small, specialized markets are actually crucial indicators of much larger industrial and economic shifts. They're telling us a story about how the world is producing the stuff we rely on every day.
That's a great way to put it. So, to sum up then, the dry granulator market isn't just growing. It's seeing this consistent, promising expansion pretty much everywhere across the globe.
Right.
And this steady growth really underscores its essential role, even if it's a quiet one, in all sorts of production lines that affect our daily lives, medicines, food, and more.
Absolutely. And maybe this raises an important question for you, the listener, to think about.
Okay.
How might this continued expansion and the ongoing innovation in dry granulation technology itself, how might that open doors for maybe entirely new types of products? Or even just much more efficient ways of making the things we already use, from medicines to foods looking out over the next decade or so?
Like what new possibilities does better granulation unlock?
Exactly. That's something important to consider, I think.
That is a great question to mull over.
Right.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the dry granulator market. We really hope you'll keep exploring these kinds of hidden forces that shape our world.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into a sector that's been quietly making waves, the dry granulator market.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Totally. Our mission here is to really unpack the sources, figure out why this, seemingly niche tech is gaining so much steam.
Right.
If you follow manufacturing, you might know granulators, but what's really pushing the growth now, and how did this, industrial workhorse suddenly become important for sustainability in digital factories?
It's a great question. And that story, that arc, is what makes it so compelling to look at now. These machines, they play this critical, often kind of hidden role,
Hidden, yeah.
but their impact, it's becoming really obvious front and center.
Absolutely. So as we dive in, you'll get a sense of the forces driving growth, the hurdles they're facing, and some pretty transformative future trends. Let's start right there. For someone wanting to go deeper, what exactly are dry granulators, and why are they suddenly so essential?
Okay, so fundamentally, they take fine powders
Right.
and they compact them, usually using pressure between rollers, to form larger, denser granules without using liquids or solvents. That's the dry part.
Ah, okay. No liquids. Makes sense.
And they're becoming essential because industries like pharma, food, chemicals, they need reliable ways to handle powders, make them flow predictably, press them into tablets, or just reduce dust. And they want to do it efficiently and increasingly sustainably.
Okay, let's unpack those market dynamics then. It feels like one of the biggest drivers is that boom in pharma and nutraceuticals globally. Where do dry granulators fit in there specifically?
They are absolutely critical because, many active ingredients in drugs or supplements, they're really sensitive. Heat, moisture, they don't like it, can degrade easily.
Right, delicate stuff.
Exactly. So dry granulation, it turns these fine, sometimes difficult powders into uniform granules. This makes a huge difference for flowability,
Flowability.
meaning the powder moves smoothly and consistently through the machines. Think high-speed tablet presses. You need that consistent flow for accurate dosing.
Okay, got it. Consistent dosing.
And it also improves compressibility. That's how well the granules stick together under pressure to make a solid tablet or fill a capsule without falling apart.
So strong tablets.
Precisely. And a key thing, this process often eliminates the need for binders. Those are the sticky liquids you often add in older wet methods.
Oh, so you skip that step.
You skip the liquid and you skip the drying step that comes after. Cleaner, often more stable product. And with consumer demand for supplements, vitamins, all those solid forms just soaring, this method is, well, it's fundamental now.
I can definitely see the advantage for sensitive ingredients, making sure they get into the pill reliably.
Yeah.
Okay, but beyond the ingredients, what about cost? And just overall process efficiency. How does dry granulation stack up against those traditional wet methods?
Yeah, this is a big part of the story, cost and environment. By skipping the binders and solvents, you immediately cut out that whole energy-guzzling drying phase.
Ah, the ovens and dryers.
Exactly. So straight away, lower operational costs.
Yeah.
You save on energy, sometimes water. You don't need that specialized drying gear.
Makes sense.
Plus, it's generally faster. Production times can be significantly shorter. And that's not just saving money on the clock. It means potentially getting products, maybe new drugs, to market quicker.
Wow, okay, time to market too.
Huge deal. So this combo, cheaper, faster, often a smaller environmental footprint, it's incredibly attractive,
Yeah.
especially, in regulated sectors like pharma, where they're always looking to streamline things, but absolutely have to maintain quality.
That makes perfect sense for anyone focused on the bottom line and efficiency. And I know continuous manufacturing is a really hot topic. How do dry granulators fit into that whole shift towards modern automated factories?
Oh, they fit beautifully. They're almost like tailor-made for it.
Yeah.
Dry granulators are increasingly being built into these smart, continuous production lines.
Integrated right in.
Yeah. They inherently support real-time monitoring, automation.
Right.
It aligns perfectly with Industry 4.0, that whole idea of smart, connected, automated manufacturing.
Right, the smart factory concept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as production gets more digital, more efficient, these granulators become, well, essential tools. They help maintain high productivity, minimize downtime, make sure the product output is precise, all within these automated workflows.
So they're enabling that digital shift.
Absolutely. What's really fascinating is how they let manufacturers truly lean into that digital transformation, moving, away from making stuff in separate batches towards a continuous, more responsive flow.
It sounds like a genuinely transformative piece of tech,
Yeah.
a real step up. But I guess it's not all easy. What are some of the biggest hurdles, the challenges manufacturers run into? Let's maybe start with cost. I hear the initial investment can be pretty steep.
You're right, yeah. No tech is perfect. And the upfront cost? It could be substantial. We're talking sophisticated systems, especially if you want all the bells and whistles, the advanced automation, the process controls.
So a big check to write up front.
A very big check. And it can be a major barrier, especially for smaller companies, SMEs, or manufacturers in developing regions where maybe the infrastructure, the technical support isn't quite there yet.
Right.
It's not just about affording the machine. It can actually shape who gets to compete in certain markets. Yeah. Kind of favors the bigger players sometimes.
That's a really crucial point about access. Okay, so cost is one thing. What about the materials themselves? You mentioned sensitive ingredients earlier, but does dry granulation work for everything? Or are there limits?
No, definitely not for everything. That's a key limitation. Some formulations, they just need those external binders to stick together properly. Or the powder itself might have, really poor natural compressibility.
Like trying to make a snowball out of dust?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Good analogy. Some powders just won't compact well on their own under pressure. So for those materials, dry granulation might not give you the granule quality you need.
So it restricts the scope a bit?
It does. It means manufacturers often still need wet granulation capabilities for certain products, especially things with really tricky formulations or specific ingredient properties. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about the regulatory side? Quality assurance. Consistency must be absolutely critical, especially in pharma. Is it harder to get that uniform result without the liquid binders helping things mix?
It can be, yes. That's a real challenge. Getting that perfect uniformity, granule size, density, flow without advanced controls can be tricky.
And uniformity is non-negotiable in pharma.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Every single batch has to meet incredibly strict standards. Safety, efficacy, it all depends on it. So to make dry granulation work reliably at scale, manufacturers have to invest. Heavy investment in process validation, sophisticated sensors, inline monitoring, comprehensive QA system.
More cost and complexity.
Exactly. It adds to the overall cost and complexity of implementation. So there's this constant balancing act, right? You want the innovation, the efficiency benefits, but you absolutely have to meet those strict compliance demands. It raises interesting questions about those trade-offs.
Despite those very real challenges, the market's clearly growing, driven by some really interesting trends that are pushing it forward. Okay, here's where it gets really cool. Let's talk about smart controls and automation integration. What does that actually look like on the factory floor?
Yeah, this is a huge leap. Modern dry granulators aren't just dumb machines anymore. They're packed with sensors. They've got AI doing diagnostics, real-time analytics feeding back constantly.
Like AI diagnostics?
Yeah, so they can enable things like predictive maintenance. The machine basically tells you, hey, this part is wearing out, you should replace it soon, before it actually breaks down. That dramatically cuts downtime.
Okay, that's smart. Saves a lot of headaches.
Huge savings. And it leads to much tighter quality control because the system is constantly watching the process parameters. Plus, it allows for seamless integration into GMP-compliant facilities.
GMP, good manufacturing practices.
Exactly, those super high global standards for quality and safety, especially in pharma. So you get big operational wins, fewer human errors, and just a much more robust, reliable production line overall.
That's a massive step for efficiency and just reducing mistakes. I'm also really curious about this tech moving beyond pharma. Where else are we seeing dry granulation making an impact now?
Oh, it's popping up in some interesting places. It really shows its versatility. Think food processing, agriculture, chemicals.
Really? How so?
Well, they all need ways to handle powders, right? So in food, maybe it's creating fortified powders like vitamins added to something that need to dissolve well and not be dusty. In ag, maybe it's making additives or fertilizers that spread evenly and are dust-free. Chemicals, maybe specialized catalysts.
So uniform, dust-free granules are valuable there too.
Exactly. Anytime you need precise, dust-free granulation, it's potentially a good fit. This expansion is opening up totally new markets, new revenue streams for this technology. It's really moving beyond its traditional pharma home base.
Fascinating. Okay, and one last trend, but it's a big one. Sustainability. It's everywhere now. How do dry granulators fit into that picture, helping meet those environmental goals?
They fit perfectly, actually. It goes
Yeah.
back to eliminating that wet granulation process. Remember, no solvents, no big drying step.
Right, less energy, less water.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So inherently lower energy use, lower water use. Plus, the newer machines, they're often designed with eco-friendly materials in mind, reduced emissions,
Yeah.
better energy efficiency overall. It's becoming a core design principle, not just an afterthought.
So manufacturers are looking at this as part of their green strategy.
Increasingly, yes.
Hmm.
As companies adopt ESG policies, environmental, social governance, this kind of equipment looks like a smart investment. It hits both performance and planet-friendly goals.
Yeah.
If you zoom out, it really shows how these core manufacturing tools are having to align with bigger global priorities around the environment. It's becoming integral to their value.
What an insightful deep dive. So just to quickly wrap up the key takeaways. The dry granulator market, it's definitely climbing, driven by this really unique mix of precision, efficiency, and increasingly sustainability.
Right.
And it's really stretching beyond just pharma now, becoming kind of indispensable in some unexpected corners.
And it's worth remembering, knowledge like this is powerful. You connect the dots. Think about how these market shifts reflect those bigger trends when we talk about automation, efficiency, environmental responsibility.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought for you, our listeners, to mull over. Think about how the seemingly specific industrial thing, dry granulation, actually underpins so many products you use every day. Maybe supplements, maybe instant coffee, maybe even the stuff that helps grow our food.
Hmm.
What other invisible technologies like this are quietly shaping our world right under our noses without us even realizing it?